What's up guys, Oxy here, and today, as the title suggests, I am doing my Little Nightmares 2 review. I played the game, beat it this past Sunday, and I'm just going to give my general thoughts and impressions of the sequel. So Little Nightmares 2 starts off with a brand new protagonist, Mono, a little boy with powers similar to Six. And we're introduced to him and this take on an all-new location, the Pale City. And we're introduced to a whole new cast of bad guys, including the Hunter, the Teacher, the Doctor, the residents of the Pale City, and the Thin Man himself. Overall, I think the game is definitely a step above the Little Nightmares 1. The length is the same. It is 5 chapters long, just as the first one was, but I do personally feel, especially the second and third chapter, are much longer than they feel almost as if like they would be 2 chapters in the first game. So that's definitely a plus. And gameplay wise, Tarsier does introduce new mechanics, freshen things up. It's not just a retread of, well, yes, you do the similar things. Obviously, you do climb, you run. Same mechanics are still in play, but we are introduced to brand new ones, as in the 4th chapter. The whole teleporting through the TV, we're introduced to that. Obviously, having Six as an AI companion opens up, the door for just better puzzles overall. As you can imagine, like the basic Six helps you up to jump, pull a lever. Just overall, the game has definitely stepped up over its predecessor. So, where does Little Nightmares 2 take place in the timeline? So, spoiler warning, I will go into spoilers from here on out, talk about some of the enemies, the ending, the secret ending, and all of that. So, you've been warned. So, Little Nightmares 2, we're in the Pale City. Our main antagonist, or so we think, is the Thin Man. A mysterious, tall, slender man-like figure who is pursuing Mono, well, our protagonist this game around. And with the 5 main, we'll call them like bosses, or you get the idea. Each chapter has like its main villain. So, Chapter 1, it's the Hunter. Chapter 2, the Teacher. Chapter 3, the Doctor. Chapter 4 is the Thin Man himself, surprisingly. You would think he was the final boss, but no. And, of course, the residents are like the... I would say Chapter 4 is like the residents and Thin Man, kind of like both. And then Chapter 5, surprisingly, is, in a shocking twist, Six herself. So the story goes that the game starts with a dreamlike sequence. We're going down the aisle. Our view is going down the hallway, and we're at our familiar eye door. And what's on the other side? And our journey begins. Mono's launched into the forest, lost, alone, and you just had to go from there. And you progress. You find Six in the Hunter's cabin. And she's playing that music, that familiar Little Nightmares tune. And we save her, she runs off, and we are introduced to her, to the AI, the AI component. We're introduced to that, like having this partner with us for most of the game. And I think they did it really well. Because you guys know the drill. I mean, I could give you a million examples, like Resident Evil 4, Ashley, any escort mission, really. AI, AI companions are usually a nuisance. Like, it's like bad, you just feel relieved when they're not around. And I would say Little Nightmares 2 does it really well. Now, yes, I guess small inconveniences, Six can get in the way. Like, let's say I had to put this key here and Six will just be standing, blocking the way. But, of course, the developers, with that in mind, you have the call feature, where obviously you can call Six towards you and, completely So for the most part, I think that it works. Like Little Nightmares 2 works. Like with the AI and everything, it's good. And in my playthrough, I didn't really experience any bugs. Now there was, I will say, I played on Xbox One. There was one like soft lock. I had a restart, like a soft lock moment where it was like one of the elevator sections, and I think, oh no, I got stuck between a locker door in the second level, the school, and Mono's kind of just floating there, and I'm just like, I can't, the door won't open, I can't move. So that was the only bug I would say I experienced, but again, just a quick restart, which I gotta give them credit, because this is a very trial and error game, so it will be constant, like, you go to a new area, don't know what to do, you die, but thankfully the load times are almost non-existent, even on base, like I said, base Xbox One. Almost no load times. You die, you're right back at that section, the last checkpoint, if you will, and boom, you're right back into it. So definitely good on Tarsier for just figuring that out and making it just an overall smooth experience. And just, the game is like, I don't know, I just really liked it. I think the pacing is fantastic, like from start to finish. Like I beat it in one playthrough. It's that engaging, and that's what I've always loved about, the series, the Little Nightmares universe, if you will. I just love that. It's so, like, the atmosphere, the mood, it's just so, it grabs you. Like, it sinks its claws into you and doesn't let go, but in a good way. Like, you're invested, like, you care about these characters, like Mono and everything. You just care about it, and it's just a fantastic game. And like this, so like I was saying earlier, we rescue 6, we go to the school, we're introduced to the teacher. For avid fans, you would know the teacher's actually the Pretender's mother from Very Little Nightmares, the mobile game, the prequel, because Little Nightmares 2 is a prequel, at least that's what we're led on to believe, of the first game. And the mobile game, of course, is like the very first game in this timeline. And the teacher is her mother. And surprisingly, the teacher is, like, I think she's the only boss that does not die or given the option to. Whereas the doctor from the hospital level, you pretty much are pushed to kill him. You can't let him live. Like, he is stuck in the furnace, but you get the idea. The teacher is the only one that there's no kill. You just escape from her. And and that's another thing I loved about the game. Like, every chapter definitely has an ending. Like, pretty much it's always a chase sequence, which with the hunter, obviously, you're being chased through the field, the forest, and then, of course, it culminates in him getting a double barrel to the chest, and that man's dead. Second chapter, obviously, the teacher chases you through the vent with that weird, like, serpent neck. It's just creepy. Just fantastic. And the third chapter, obviously, is the doctor chasing you into the furnace. The Thin Man for the fourth chapter, where we defeat him. Surprisingly, I was surprised that wasn't the ending. And of course, the final chapter ends the story. But so we go to the school, the hospital, and then the Pale City itself, running through it. We defeat the Thin Man, and we get to, and of course, along the way, you notice a progression of 6, almost like she's giving in to the dark side. And in that fourth level, she gets stolen by the Thin Man, and of course we have to go save her. And that's where we get to the final level, where we're at the signal tower, and you go up the stairs, follow that music that as the beginning of the game, just that Little Nightmares tune. And we get to it, and we see 6 deformed, and it's just like, whoa. And we had to save our friend that, this whole game we spent, like, bonding with. And you save her by destroying the music box. Obviously, you have that awesome boss battle. And you get to the end. You're being chased by the Blob. You find out that the tall man, the thin man, sorry, was not the ultimate bad. It's like the signal tower's alive. This blob of eyes, like, it just chases you, and you get to the end, and Six makes the jump. And Mono, as throughout the game, Six catches you and drops you. And I don't know, that really stuck with me. I was like, damn. But then again, in the first game, Six always had that like evil vibe to her. Drops you, and then that's the big reveal. In the normal ending, you find out that Mono grows up to become the Thin Man. And then, like we said, that's what puts this prequel, like, where it's like, oh, so Mono became the Thin Man. And, it's like it opens so many questions, like, the time, like the timeline. You're like, whoa, so does that mean we're experiencing an older Mono? Like, you get what I mean? Like a time travel scenario where the Thin Man is Mono, and we're being chased by him, and like he's trying to stop like the cycle. And then in the secret ending, if you collect all 18 glitches found throughout the game, you get basically the epilogue. Where Six escaped through the portal, and she jumps out the TV, and we're introduced to like her shadow form for the first time. That in the first game, if you notice, every time she would eat, succumb to her hunger, to her desires, the shadow would just be watching her off to the side. The shadow manifests and points to the Ma, or looks down to a poster of the Ma, and then the familiar stomach growl happens, basically confirming, to me at least, that this was a prequel, that this happens before. And it's just, I don't know, that twist was just so like, that's why you gotta give it to Tarsier, that they really know, like, their games are just fantastic. And like throughout the board, Little Nightmares 2 was just a amazing experience. I cannot recommend it enough. It's definitely a must buy. But with that, guys, that's gonna do it. Like I said, personally, I give Little Nightmares 2 a 9 out of 10. Fantastic game. Definitely check it out. And let me know what you think. Do you like it? Do you hate it? That's what it's all about. But with that, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And be on the lookout. Saturday's video is probably going to be, I'm going to do like a deeper dive, like a lore, theories, just get deeper into the story of Little Nightmares. But again, guys, thank you for watching. Take care. Peace.